माइक बंद ठीक है, माइक और टीवी बंद करो, कैमरा बंद। क्या है तुम तेरा दोस्तों के मित्र हो ना, मैं पूछता हूँ ना। Sir, I am audible. Harinder, I am audible. कितना साल में
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to have a session from Directorate of Standardization. So we have Group Captain Ajay Bhartiya from the Standardization Group and Captain Vijender S. Nania from Codification Cataloging Group. So we'll wait for 5 more minutes and then we'll start the session. Thank you. So let's start our session for today. Ajay sir, you may please go ahead.
Yeah, just we are sharing the slide.
अभी परमिशन नहीं दे रहे उन्होंने ये वेबएक्स वालों ने शेयर करने की.
Sachin, I believe the permission has not been granted for sharing the document.
Sir, please try once again. I've given the permission.
Try again. If you can confirm the slides are visible.
Yes, sir, they're visible.
So shall I start?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so a very good afternoon to all of you. A warm welcome from the Directorate of Standardization. I am Group Captain Standardization, Group Captain Ajay Bhartiya. So, as you all are aware, for every defense product for use for our armed forces need to operate under the stringent environmental conditions. And for that, it needs to be reliable for high availability and maintainability, and goes without say the serviceability also. And therefore, standards are formulated through a thorough validation and verification process. So it will be in our mutual interest to align our products and processes with these specifications, what we prepare at Directorate of Standardization for the compliance purpose. For the benefit of this session, in the next couple of slides, I will give a brief overview of what we understand by standardization, its principles and benefits, and subsequently I will touch upon various standard documents which have been formulated by the standardization subcommittees, which are commonly used and what have been prepared in the recent times. I'll be covering at a broad level that the various committees which are there in the formulation of these standards, their roles and responsibilities. So going ahead. So what is standardization? By definition, standardization is the process of defining and adopting common specifications. They can be protocols, procedures, and processes through mutual agreement among the stakeholders. So whosoever is involved in the process of standardization, all the stakeholders in terms of the academia, the industry, the testing agencies, the quality assurance agencies, and the user in the main player in that who is going to use the standard. So they need to be on a common mutual agreement. And the real power of standardization therefore lies in forging a consensus through shared understanding. In defense, the primary purpose is to achieve and maintain the highest level of three critical elements, so to say: compatibility, interchangeability, and commonality.
Sir, if I may, are you changing the slides, sir?
Yeah, I am changing the slide.
I think we are at the first slide only.
So we'll reshare it again, and you can say we'll go to.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible, sir.
It is visible.
Now we are at the fourth slide. Yes, sir.
इसी format में चलाना पड़ेगा.
So shall we go in this format,
yes,
or
fine.
we
It's
go to the full
completely
screen?
fine. It's completely
Shall we
fine like this, sir. It's fine, sir. It's fine.
It's fine, Joe. So now what I was mentioning was broadly on the standardization aspect. So that is the topic which everybody understands. So I'll not dwell much upon it. But from the defense side, when we talk about standardization, we are basically looking for compatibility, interchangeability, and commonality. So those are the three pillars where the major focus is, so as to ensure that the item is highly reliable, maintainable, serviceability wise also it stands to the test of time. So those are the things. And then coming on to the principles of standardization, when we talk about standardization or standards, common rules, guidelines, frameworks, and specifications. So what we need to follow are these principles of principles of standardization as shown on the slide. So in terms of the complexity, the simplification of complexity, building up of general consensus, which I have already covered. And then it should have some kind of a regulatory or a legal framework which ensures that there is compliance to those things. So these are the things. And then now moving further ahead. Now will change. So we go on to the benefits of standardization. In defense, standardization ensures compatibility and interoperability of equipment, increases safety and reliability, and streamlines logistics. It leads to reduced inventory, easier procurement and maintenance, leading to enhanced operational efficiency and significant cost savings. Next. Now, Basically the scope of standardization in defense sector, so to say, or the various coverage of the standards which are there. So that has been shown on the slide. So basically, when we talk about the joint service specifications, they include the technical and the operational specifications for system and components, their material specifications such as alloys and composites, whatever is the material which is utilized in the making of that particular store or item of use. The process specifications which goes on in the making that particular item or store, maybe like a heat treatment, and then it covers the ATP and the QTP documents, the inspection and the quality assurance procedures to ensure there is reliability of the product and the interoperability aspects. So that is what is the basic the aspects which are covered broadly into the standardized documents when we talk about. I'll cover them in further detail in the subsequent slides. Next. So as you can see on the slides, there are 5 documents which basically the various committees and all the stakeholders who are there in the formulation of standard documents. So these 5 documents are the areas where the committees work, and then we formulate standards. Starting with, we have got joint service specifications, then we have the joint service guide, then we have the joint service preferred ranges, and then coming on to JSRL, that is joint services rationalized list, and last but not the least, we have got approval notifications. So these are the various documents which the Directorate of Standardization is involved in the process of formulating, and once formulated, they are available on the DoS website, and the link is as shown on the slide. So just briefly, I'll touch upon the joint services specifications. These are the documents that cover the essential requirements for a product, be it a material or a procedure. The document covers the acceptance and the quality testing procedures as already covered, thereby ensuring that the item complies with the standards needed for military applications. Like if I say there is a joint service specification 0251, which basically brings out that there is if the OEM is making a particular product, then the technical documentation needs to follow JSS 0251, and along with that, what all will be the literature which will be provided by the company, so that gets covered. Similarly, like say we have MIL standard 1553, though it's an international standard. So similarly, if there is a standard, then we will be having a JSG on that particular subject, and in detail I'll cover in the subsequent slide. Now coming to the joint service guide, which deals with the design practices, quality assurance, measurements, testing and maintenance process. It may also cover process on materials and component selection, process of heat treatment, as I already said, finishing processes, tolerance limits, and statistical methods, so as to ensure consistency and quality of the product. Like there are various quality assurance framework guides, or we have similarly plethora of documents on the standard joint services guide, which I'll cover in the subsequent slide. Next. Now coming on to joint services preferred range, this is an important regulatory document where the preferences are specified basically to ensure the variety reduction, because that is one of the fundamental principle of the in the military domain when we make standards. One is the variety reduction, and then there is entry control. So towards variety reduction, this JSPR document gives us a localized area, sorry, the area where the preferences are specified for the product. So basically to reduce the variety, and that ensures efficiency, safety and compatibility by carefully studying the ranges. So that is where the user and the people who are in the formulation of this particular JSPRs, they regulate the product which are going to be subsequently consumed or bought by the services. If you have, say, a generator or a test equipment, so the services broadly specify that these are the various ranges in which the equipment will be broadly classified, categorized, and subsequently procured. Next. Then you have joint service rationalized.
previous
Slide change करने को बोला था. I think it didn't change.
next बोल दिया उसी slide.
So joint service rationalized list is again one of the curated list which is for the internal consumption of the TRI services. So this is not of maybe a matter of interest to the people outside, but this is for our internal regulation. The rationalized lists are prepared for basically inventory management. And then lastly, we have the approval notifications. So any formal adoption of the Indian standard, which is fully adopted, if there is an IS standard which is there and which meets the military requirements, the complete document is taken over through a process of approval notification. Next. So basically, just for the information purpose, these are the bifurcation of the various standards which are there prepared by the Directorate of Standardization. And if you want in detail, they can be accessed. The nomenclature of all these things will be available to you on the DoS website. Next. Shown on the slide are the frequently referred standards. So whenever there is any RFP, whichever is coming, and there the mention is there or they are related, they are so you will find a common mention of these specifications as well as the JSGs. Some of the recently referred prepared documents are as shown on the slide. Next. Now coming on to the various committees who are there, who play a major role in the formulation of documents. This will be a matter of interest for everybody. So based on their domain, they can just see what meets their requirement. So we have, starting with the first standardization committee, we have the armament standardization committee. And here basically the area of work remains pertaining to explosive stores which are there in the armament domain. And then in the last row, you can see the authorities holding sealed particulars. We call them the HSPs, who are there in the who are involved in the process of formulation of these documents. So we have the armament committee. Similarly, next. So we have the committee on the electrical standardization subcommittees, and where you have whatever are the stores related to the electrical items and equipment pertaining to that. We have the electrical standardization committee. Next. This is then we have the guided missiles systems and component. We have the committee who is involved, which is involved in the formulation of standards for guided missiles and its components. The broad areas are related to missile and its associated equipment like launchers, ground equipments, thermal batteries, control systems, proximity fuse, aluminium alloys for manufacturing various components, solid propellants, etc. And the HSPs are MUSCA, DGQA Navy, and DGQA for Aeronautical Quality Assurance Agency. Then we have the Instrument Standardization Subcommittee, which is able to formulate standard documents in the field of instruments. We have the HSPs as DQA, CQAs, and the last one is Directorate of L&I, RD15. Next. And we have the Material Standardization Subcommittee who are there in the process of formulating standards in the materials domain, be it metals or there is a rubberized item, then you have general stores, then you have textiles and clothing. So all those things, they come part of the material standardization committee. Next. Then you have the stores standardization subcommittee, which are there in the formulation of standards related to general stores, like textile and clothing items, stores, general stores, petroleum products, oil and lubricants, drugs, pesticides, and hygiene chemicals, and the associated HSPs are as shown on the slide. Next. Then you have the vehicle standardization committee looking after the standards in the domain of vehicles, the class A and the class B vehicles, and the associated HSPs. Next. Then we have the engineering equipment standardization committee. So all the standards related to the engineering equipment domain falls under this. Next. Then we have the marine equipment standardization committee, and they are there to formulate standards in the marine domain and broadly looking after preparation of standards related to stores relevant in defense shipbuilding. Next. Then you have the nuclear, biological, chemical standardization committee, basically in the areas of countering chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear effects. And the HSP is the NBC equipment wing at Pune. Next. You have the aero stores standardization subcommittee involved in the process of formulating guidelines and specifications on all aspects of airborne platform and equipment. And the HSPs are as shown on the slide. Then we have the electronic standardization subcommittee. So all the electronic aspects, avionics, be it radars, waveguides, connectors, coaxial, intercommunication sets, oscillator, etc. These are the areas where the standardization committee formulates the standards. Next. And lastly, we have the IT information technology standardization subcommittee. So they make standards related to any aspect related to information technology, including niche topics for smooth adaptation and performance by services. And the HSPs are as shown on the slide. For the information to all, there are 9 standardization cells across the country and supported by 3 detachments as shown on the slide. Next. So here, the last slide where the DoS is interfaced with all the elements of Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard. Then we have the quality assurance agencies, the DG DGQA. Then headquarter IDS. Then we have connect with the defense PSUs, the DRDO, and we are the standard development organization recognized by the Bureau of Indian Standards. So that's all from the standardization group. If you have any query, we can take on, or we can take the queries subsequent to the presentation by the cataloging and codification group. Thank you. Change.
Hi, any participants have any queries pertaining to this session? If not, then we can move to the next session. So let's go ahead with the next session.
Yeah.
First slide, please. Slide show कर दीजिएगा. So thank you very much for giving us the overview of standardization in defense. I, Captain Vijender Singh Nania, on behalf of Director Standardization, would bring out the second important vertical of Directorate of Standardization, which is cataloging and codification. This vertical primarily deals with the codification of defense equipment, which in the recent times has become an imperative for the Indian defense manufacturing ecosystem in more than one way. And what are these ways? I would be presenting it during my presentation. The flow of my presentation would be, please change it. Is my slide visible? Is my slide visible?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is visible.
The flow of the presentation would be as flashed on the screen. I would introduce the audience to the codification and cataloging of defense equipment. Thereafter, codification roll-on plan, what it means. Then the training which we provide with respect to codification use cases, and the important policies and the guidelines which the defense manufacturing ecosystem should be aware of. Next slide, please. The genesis of codification and cataloging of the defense equipment was World War II, which was a logistic nightmare for the Allied forces. Post World War II, as the world was undergoing a transition, so was an integrated logistics management system of the Allied forces. The federal catalog system of United States was taken up as the basis, and the NATO codification system was developed thereupon. The NATO codification system primarily is a common supply language for the diverse defense inventory. The aim of the NATO codification system is to allocate a unique 13-digit scientific code. All other participants are kindly requested to mute your mics. The aim of the NATO codification system is primarily to allocate a unique 13-digit scientific code to each defense item of supply, which has got a common form, fit, and function. There can be various manufacturers who are producing a particular type of items, but if these manufacturers are producing an item of supply which got the same form, fit, and function, so we allocated a unique codification number that is called NATO stock number. Next slide. In that 13-digit, as we decipher it, first 4 digits are the group and the class of that particular item. Then the next 2 digits are the country code, which is the country of the origin of that particular equipment. And thereafter, there are 7-digit number which are generated by a software. The question may arise why this NSN is so significant to us. The NSN becomes significant to us by the virtue that during the codification process, we capture the characteristics of that particular equipment, where we store it, what is the origin of that item, who is the OEM, who is the HSP, what is the price, some technical specification, and so forth. With this, we accrue the benefit such as it establishes commonality with respect to when it comes to the interoperability of the services. It curtails down the proliferation. It enhances the operation logistics of the services as well as the manufacturers, and it enhances the export potential since it provides a global visibility. The moment our equipment is codified, it is reflected into an international database of the NATO codification member countries, which is 64 in number as on date. So if a particular item is getting codified, it gets a global visibility, which enhances the export potential. Next slide, please. The codification and the cataloging group also provides the registration to the defense manufacturer, which is a mandatory requirement prior to undertaking the codification of a defense equipment. This registration code is called NATO Commercial and Government Entity Code, or NCAGE code. It is a 5-character code which contains alphanumerical numbers as flashed on the screen. The document required by the manufacturer for the registrations are GST, PAN, Udyog number, etc. These are the very, very basic documents which a manufacturer is already having. We seek these documents from the particular manufacturer to undertake the registration. From where the particular manufacturer can apply, he can apply through DoS or the NATO Supply and Procurement Agency websites. The glimpses of the DoS website is as flashed on the screen. Please change the slide. The entire process can be undertaken online as well as through the offline mode. You can download the form from the DoS website and you can fill up the form. You get the recommendation of the concerned defense entity you are dealing with. Even if you are not dealing with a defense entity, you can directly send the form to us and apply it through an online mode. Generally, 4 to 5 working days, we allocate a NKH code. Thereafter, manufacturer is eligible to undertake the NATO codification or the codification of that particular item. Next slide, please. Directorate of Standardization has also been designated as National Codification Bureau by the apex body of NATO codification system, that is Allied Committee 135. And as National Codification Bureau, DoS is mandated to steer, monitor, and facilitate codification of defense equipment through Defense Equipment Codification Committee. The entire process of codification is through a web-based software called Encore NG, and it is available online. And it can be accessed through DoS websites also by all the manufacturers who are participating in this session. Next slide, please. I will provide a brief overview of our codification process. As soon as a defense equipment comes to us, we see is it of a national origin or of a foreign origin, and then we check the details of this particular equipment in a global database that is called NMCRL, NATO Master Catalog for reference for logistics. This is a master catalog which is held with all the NATO codification member countries, which is 64 in number, as I brought out earlier. If this equipment is codified already, so we add in the case of the indigenous equipment, we add that manufacturer's reference into that. In the case of the foreign NSN, if this equipment is codified, we approach to the foreign NCB and we request to add the Indian manufacturer as also the user of this equipment. If the equipment is not codified, in the case of the foreign equipment, we take up a codification request with the concerned foreign NCB, who in turn approaches to the manufacturer of that particular country. In the case of the indigenous equipment, the OEM undertakes the codification of that particular items through Encore NG software, and after the codification has been done, it is verified at 2 levels. One is the AHSP, and the others are the concerned DSCs and the DSTs, which are available in their particular geographical location. If there are corrections, then it is again referred back to the OEM, and if there are no corrections, so it comes to National Codification Bureau, that is Directorate of Standardization, and NSN is allocated. If everything goes fine, to create a particular NSN, it takes only 15 to 30 minutes. And this entire process of approval takes only a week. There are fast track procedures also. If in the case the requirement is critical, we take that request in a particular, we take it on a fast track basis. Next slide, please. As I brought out, that National Codification Bureau works under the aegis of Defense Equipment Codification Committee, which is chaired by Joint Secretary Personnel and Coordination at Ministry of Defense, and which is the apex body for codification and cataloging in the Indian context. The DECC functions again under the aegis of Standardization Committee, which is chaired by Secretary DDR&D and Chairman DRDO. Next. NCB India, that is National Codification Bureau India, that is Directorate of Standardization, achieved the Tier 2 membership, the apex level membership of NATO codification system in 2016, wherein after that we were allowed to participate in the codification activities with the other member countries of the NATO codification system. And since then, we have codified nearly 6 lakhs of indigenous inventory. We have processed nearly 2 lakhs of foreign requests, and we have published nearly 1 lakh of Indian equipment into national global database. Further, we have registered nearly 14,000 defense entities with us, and we have allocated NATO commercial and government entity, that is NKH code, to them. Next slide. As NCB India, it is our endeavor to codify entire defense industries. Accordingly, we progress the codification of defense equipment through a priority-based codification roll-on plan. It is a three-year roll-on plan. The equipment to be codified under each priority of codifications are provided by the stakeholders themselves. Next. The present codification roll-on plan, which is in vogue, is 2025-27. The priorities are as flashed on the screen. Priority 1A, it pertains to the common use equipment to 2 or 3 services. This is provided to us by HQ iDEX, who is a primary stakeholder. These equipments are very, very critical for us for the formation of joint logistics nodes and the formation of the theater command. Then comes the priority 1B equipment, which has been provided to us by JSDIP, MOD. These are the equipment which got export potential. And then comes the priority 1C. These are the equipment which are manufactured by DPSUs. These lists are provided to us by all the DPSUs which are available in the country. Thereafter, we try to capture or we try to codify the inventory which is held with the services, Army, Navy, and Air Force. So the priority 1D deals with the equipment which have been procured by the services in the last 5 years, and the inventory which is remaining has been categorized as a priority 2. As on date, there are 1051 equipment which are under codification under roll-on plan 2025-27. You should not get mistaken with these. Quantity is only that 1051. It may contain thousands and thousands of subsystems and systems inside it. Next slide, please. We do provide training on codification and cataloging also. If the industries who are listening to us today in this session, they can approach to us for the training on the codification and cataloging. Next slide, please. The training centers are at DSC Badarpur and DSC Pune, wherein we conduct regular training based on our annual training calendar. We do conduct tailor-made training based on the requirement of the services also. Please click. The contact details. The contact details of these training cells are as flashed on the screen. I would take a pause of 2 to 3. Sorry. I would take a pause of 2 to 3 seconds onto this slide. So please take a screenshot of this slide or whatever the way it is possible, or you can get these details on the DoS websites also. So you can approach in the case you require training on codification and cataloging to these institutes. Next slide, please. There are certain use cases for the codification, which I'll cover in the next 3-4 slides. The first use case is codification and cataloging helped us in identification of indigenous alternative manufacture for imported equipment using NSN details. As I brought out, we check the NMCRL database if that item is already codified. So we add that particular industries who have started manufacturing it now as one of the alternate manufacturer onto this codification database. Next slide, please. This helps us since the codification also captures certain technical parameters also. It helps us in undertaking the indigenization of defense equipment too. Next. It helps us in identification of manufacturer database. Next. Last but not the least, it is one of the most critical use case for the Indian defense industries, wherein it enhances and facilitates the export of the equipment which are being manufactured by Indian defense industries. As the NATO countries have mandated the NSN codes to be available prior if a particular entity intends to export it to these member countries. Next. There are certain policy guidelines on codification which mandates the codification as a mandatory requirement. These policy guidelines are as follows. Next slide, please. the codification is a mandatory requirement as per DAP 2020 for all the capital procurement cases being progressed by all the DPSUs, which comes under MOD and the service headquarters. The codification is a mandatory requirement. So this clause which is flashed on the screen would be visible to you as a supplier in all the contracts. Further, there were certain nuances to the codification which have been addressed through common SOP of codification of contracted equipment by services. Next slide, please. The highlight of this common SOP is that codification is a mandatory requirement, and the services now are going to consider service as well as the other defense entities like DPSU would consider codification as a deliverable, and it will be linked with the payment in accordance with Chapter 2 and Annexure 7 Appendix M of DAP 2020. The contract management director who has floated this particular procurement case would be the nodal point to coordinate the task of codification. In the case of common use equipment, which is being supplied to 2 to 3 services, the lead service would act as a nodal service to coordinate the task of codification. Now, there are codification guidelines on roles and responsibility, which is under formulation, and it is under the apex level of approval with Secretary DP and the JSPNC as on date. Next slide, please. The need of this policy guidelines and the codification guidelines was that with our primarily the codification activity in the recent past was in-house affair, which was limited to defense entities like service headquarters and DPSUs. However, with our national vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, there are policy changes which has been brought in by Government of India, which has enhanced the role of MSME startups, the people like you who have taken the iDEX challenges. And with you people coming into the picture, we have to, it mandated us to relook to our roles and responsibility during the codification process. So what we have done is, we have mapped all the possible scenarios of the codification, and we have clearly delineated all the roles and responsibility during this codification process at each and every level. Next slide, please. The salient aspects of this codification guidelines is that OEM or the manufacturer, in this case, you are the one who are going to be the primarily responsible for the codification of a given equipment. For export orders, wherein you as a defense wherein you as an entity is directly dealing with the foreign supply orders, and there is no government interaction or or interaction with any government entity or the services headquarters. In that case, the concerned DSDs at your concerned geographical location would shoulder the responsible of the technical scrutiny, and we are going to help you in getting that NATO stock number. Further, we have enhanced the participation of internal QC and QA of your industry, wherein we have said that if your QA QC should be also participating in this codification process. Further, the defense equipment being indigenized have also been brought out under the ambit of codification. These are the salient aspects of the codification guidelines, which is under approval, and it would be shortly released. I believe the Defense Equipment Codification Committee, which is scheduled on the 9th of December. After that, we are going to promulgate this codification guidelines. Next slide, please. The key takeaways for all the participants of this session is that if a form, fit, and function of an item is same, then we allocate it a NATO stock number, which is a 13-digit unique identification number. We also register the manufacturers, and we allocate them the NATO commercial and government entity code, which is a mandatory requirement to undertake the codification of any defense equipment. Then we undertake the codification as per the codification priority-based codification roll-on plan. And codification is a mandatory requirement as per DAP 2020, and it should be included in all the RFPs and the capital procurement. You can access all these details through DTP DoS website also. With this, the codification and cataloging parts. Any questions, any queries from the users and or the participants of this session are most welcome. Thank you.
Sir, good afternoon. I just have one question.
Yeah, please.
Thank you so much for the session. Just last days, is there any cost involved for the enrollment and the DSC Badarpur sessions that we can opt for?
There are no cost as such involved in anything as on date. It is free of cost.
Okay, and the
Please-
sessions that we can opt for at DSC Badarpur, are they also free of cost? How can we directly?
Everything is free of cost. You can approach to us. There are regular training. I've flashed on the screen the training calendar which was there. It was there in that
Right.
slide. The slide. We can share this presentation to you, to the coordinator, and he can disseminate to all the participants. Wherein
Right.
the training calendar for 2025-26 has been displayed.
Sir.
Apart from that, if you got a emergent requirement to undertake the training, you can approach to us also. We can conduct those tailor-made training also, and it is all free of cost.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Perfect.
One more thing to all the participants, our contact details, email IDs, phone numbers, they are all available on DoS website. I would request everyone who has to undertake the codification or who is required to undertake the codification, please do visit our website. That is going to help you a lot. Just please spare just half an hour onto that website. You will get all the information, and even if after that you face any problem, we are there to provide you necessary handholding.
So, Sachin, is there any further question or any
Sir,
query?
we check, sir. From the participants, do we have any other question? If no, then we can probably wind up this session. So one more heads up for all our participants. So on 27th, we're going to have a session on Citizen Portal, and on 28th, we're going to have a session from DGNAI. And also, whatever DOS has covered in both the PPTs, it will be a part of our compendium/handbook, which will be available in public domain once all the sessions have been covered. Thank you
And
so much.
lastly, Sachin, you can apprise all your participants very shortly whatever we have covered, and some more in detail. The slides and the material on standardization and codification will be available to all the people from the government side on the iGOT platform also.
Sure, sir. We'll do that.
Yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Ajay, sir. Thank you, Vijendra, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you.